What's poppin', dogs? Mr. Allen here with some more non-right triangle trick. Now, I got triangle ABC as always, but for this one I've got an angle and I got two known sides. I got to solve for the missing side and angles, but is it going to be law of sines or law of cosines? I think it's best to just draw a picture and figure this thing out. Now, generally speaking, we seem to just draw an equilateral triangle half the time, which I think is fine. You can try to draw it a little more like scalene, if you will, just because all these triangles are probably going to end up that way, right? And then try to label accordingly, up to you guys. I try to do that, just how I roll. I'm going to call this angle A. We'll call this 82 degrees. This looks like it's the biggest side, and C looks like it's maybe the biggest, but is it A? I don't know. But I'll make this one C since I already made that A. So this is going to be 23 feet. This will be angle C. This will be angle B. Thus, side B is going to be across from that, and this is side A. All right, so I got my triangle drawn up here, and it's looking like I got a law cosine situation because it's side, angle, side, rather than angle, side, side, right? I got two sides and an angle, but the angle is included, so it is side, angle, side, law cosines. All right, so let's write this thing up. I'm going to solve for the missing side first. That's going to be the easiest move here. So I'm going to have a squared. Let's see. I'm actually going to write this one right up here because I think it'll fit nicely. A squared, and then I have equals, and then we have our two sides here, so 17 squared plus 23 squared minus 2 times the 17 times the 23 times cosine of that included angle. Cosine of 82 degrees. And then we can plug that all in, and the algebra here, what am I going to do? On both sides, I'm going to square root, all right? And let me actually, I'll write down a little bit of work. Okay, I got the root. I'll write it down. So let's type it all in here. We had a lot going on earlier. 17 squared plus 23 squared minus 2 times 17 times 23 times cosine of 82. Close it, hit enter, and then I can square root that. Second square root, arrow up, copy it in, boom. You could also just type it all in at once. What I could have done this, type the square root first. I'm just going to copy it. I don't feel like typing it all again. But I could type it all into the square root. Either way, you will get the same answer here. So I'm just going to write a squared, show a little bit of work here. A squared equals 709.166166 and change. And I always do the dot, dot, dot right there afterwards to show, hey, it's a non-rounded value. In my calculator eventually rounds it. It doesn't have an infinite decimals, but it shows that, hey, it's a calculator value. Right? I can go back to my calculator for that value. And then once we did that, we got A equals 26.63. 26.63 feet. Boom. 26.63 feet. Okay, cool. Awesome. First one done. Now I just got to get some angles. And really, I only need to get one angle because then the other one is just, it's got to add to 180, right? So one last complex math sort of thing to do. I'm going to do it right here because we're going to be doing law of sines, okay? So I am going to be using these two here, which means I'm going to work with the fancy value in my calculator. YORO, you only round once, so we'll use those values, all right? So let's set up a law of sines now, and I will do so in, I'm deciding my color that I want. I've got a lot of colors down here. I'm going to go with the blue, all right? So I'm going to have, and you can set this up, honestly, with your sines on the numerator or your sines in the denominator. It really doesn't matter as far as the math is concerned. I'm sure there's some kind of hoity-toity math person out there that's like, it's got to be this way. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to throw the signs up in the numerator, and hopefully I don't get yelled at by the math community. All right, so sine of 82 over its opposite side there, 26 point, and we said it's 630, dot, 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 to show, hey, that value's in the calculator. I'm going to math with the value that is in the calculator, okay? Not 26.63. I want all those decimals. YORO. You only round once. That's why I wore the shirt for this video. All right, now, let's see here. Are we going to solve for B or C? I'm going to go with C right now. It should be my largest angle, the second largest angle. That is the largest angle because it's across from it. It looks like the largest side, right? So we'll go with C. So sine of C over the 23. And this would be sine of B over 17. I'm not really going to be using that one. I'm going to be focusing on these two right here. I'm going to cross multiply with those two. I'm not even worried about this one over here, okay? So let's do that. Let's cross multiply and solve. I'm going to have 23 times the sine, 23 times sine of 82 equals this mess right here times sine of c. So 26.630 and change times the sine of c. I'll divide by that. Let's show that with some colors that pop. Divide by 26.630 and change. 26.630 and change. And now, here's what we got. We have the 23 times sine of 82 over that mess, 26.630 and change, equals sine of c. Okay. How am I going to get c by itself? Well, to get c by itself, I'd have to undo sine. I can't divide by sine. It's a function. I can do, however, inverse sine. So sine inverse on that side, I got to do it to this side, sine inverse. I can type all that in at once, and I will get angle C. So remember back from right triangle trig days, when you want to find the angle, you got to use the inverse, right? When solving for the angle, use inverse trig. Same applies here. We're just doing it algebraically through this whole mess. I'm going to type that all in at once, all right? Okay, hold on here. I'm going to store this thing, all right? We're going to store alpha A, enter. Now if I type in A, it's the value. Check it out, okay? So I'm going to do second sine, all this at once. All this at once. Alpha x for my fraction, 23 times sine of 82. And then arrow down, alpha A out, boom, 58.79. And does that make sense? It is a smaller side than this one, so it should be a smaller angle. I agree. I think that makes sense. So we're going to say 58.79 degrees. 79 degrees for that angle. And to get B, I'm going to do my 82 plus the 58.79, and I'll do 180 minus that. And you might be noticing like, hey, whoa. Did you just use a rounded value to calculate it? Yes, I did, because I want the angles to all add up to 180 degrees. In a triangle, all of the angles add up to 180 degrees. We got to have that here. That is the most important in my opinion. And my opinion is the one that matters in my video because I'm making the video. But yes, all three angles do need to add up to 180 degrees. I know a lot of teachers are sticklers on that. So there we go, guys. Finish it up. That's dope. You can just type all this stuff in at once. You could do the fancy storing a value there. You don't have to do that. I just want to be bougie like that. But otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Law of cosines, side angle side scenario. A lot of fun math to be had there. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode. If you weren't getting these answers, you're like, bro, I am so lost. Hit mode real quick and make sure you're in degree. Down twice to the right once. Hit enter on degree. Then you'll be good to go. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, pop it in the comments. Otherwise, stay awesome.